Today was our final studio presentations, and we were at Bellworks in Homedale, New Jersey. Our graduate students are in their final studio class, and they presented to a jury, which is made up of adjuncts in our program, and then also graduates that are working in the field.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gabriela, and I will be pitching my concept idea that I have for my boutique hotel. But before I get started, I really just want to say how proud I am of everybody and how well we've kind of pushed through this semester. I know it's been a little hard, and that I am very thankful for everybody that I have met on this journey. Here is my concept model. Now, like I said, my design of this hotel is a little bit more based on the concept, and I just want to read a little bit more about how I started off with the processes. So in the beginning of this course, we were asked to make concept models out of paper with no experience whatsoever. It was very challenging for all of us because it really started to bring out the abstract in our brains, and I feel like a lot of us are more so literal. But I leaned more towards curves and bends, and that's how I came up with my first paper model that you will see as we walk around once I'm finished. It has a bold green color, which is usually not my thing, but I was like, I had no idea what I was walking into when bringing green cardstock to class. And then as soon as I did, Jesse told us, this is our final project. And I was like, oh, green cardstock. What am I going to do with that? So for the second model, I decided to go a little bit more of a subtle route. Like I said, we'll see as we walk around. I used more of a tan color cardstock, and I built that same type of tunnel with the same kind of holes, but instead of cutting out the holes, I wanted those holes to be a little bit more organic. So I burned the holes and ended up actually liking the first one better. So then we got to our final concept models, as you see displayed on the screen, and I decided to go with that same neutral, obviously not tan, but that same neutral color in my actual tunnel itself. And I wondered how I could actually bring color into this, and that's when I started looking, and I found these beautiful like glass mosaic pieces that I decided to put on this model because it was one of those things that felt right. And as I was making this model, I was really trying to think about how the light would cast the shadows. And after actually looking at it and taking the pictures, that's when I realized it wasn't really about the shadows. It was more so how the light reflected off of my model. And that got me thinking, all right, what's the location that I could choose for this specific model? And that's when I came up with Iceland and the lagoon itself. And like I said, the glass mosaics on there and how the light reflected really reminded me of the Northern Lights. So it was one of those things where it felt like it was meant to be. But the Northern Lights are these incredible natural gleams of light that shine throughout the night sky. They are seen above magnetic poles of the north and southern hemispheres. Collisions between electricity change particles from the sun that enter the Earth's atmosphere. This helps with the numerous colors, meaning the color variation is due from a collision of gas particles. I genuinely knew, like I said, I wanted my design based off this natural phenomenon, but yet again, I didn't really know how I could tie this into my design. So, like I said, Iceland has many areas of water, like large bodies of water, and I was trying to think more so what could be taken from my model, brought into here, and when I looked at it, I thought of like an undersea tunnel. I'm not sure why it led me towards that, but that's kind of where I led to, and that got me thinking about pearls. So pearls are highly valued in the jewelry industry because they are known for their natural iridescence. It is considered an organic gem because it is created by a living creature. They are coated in nacre. This then leads to them in developing a calcium carbonated layer. So that's essentially how they get that glow, that iridescence glow, and then that layer reminded me of specifically how the wavelength of the Northern Lights are included. Like my materials, I do have an oyster that you could see. That way you can kind of compare the two a little bit more. But that kind of led me towards my concept statement, so I'm just going to read this for you. The Northern Lights and pearls have almost an identical iridescence. Colors that reflect from both create this whimsical scene that make you wonder how on earth can nature be this beautiful. Swart Perla Hotel's goal is to transform hospitality to a new level by utilizing natural phenomenons to drive the design. It is high priority that this is emphasized throughout the entire design of the hotel. Mother of pearl material will be an organic component used to continue that iridescent flow without taking away from the optimized view of the northern lights. A light color palette is also essential to Icelandic design to make point of Scandinavian and minimalistic design. So here are some words that I really wanted to display out to everyone, like what the pearls and what the northern lights meant to me. I really wanted to show the correlation between the two. So I have words like nature, light, iridescence, masterpiece, phenomenon, treasure, wonder, whimsical. I feel like these words really describe what these two phenomenons really are, because nobody really knows how they became what they were. Here's a little bit of my mood board. This was assigned to us when we got our site analysis project, and I started, like I said, trying to compare the two, and I felt like I displayed this throughout this board. I showed how the oyster is the same exact color as the northern lights on the bottom too, and it really, that's what really brought this project to life, was this mood board, I felt like. So here are some of the materials I used. I really wanted to keep it neutral, nothing crazy. Scandinavian design style allows guests to fully view the northern lights and emphasize the beauty of nature itself. I really wanted nature to be this selling point and the idea of this design. So here are some of my public areas. We have the lobby and concierge. Guests will check in there. They'll also see what kind of fun activities there are to do around the area. We have a ton of lounge and bar spaces for my guests to come enjoy, relax. We have the farm to table restaurant. Like I said, we'll be resourcing Hoffel Farm to get our food resource, and then our sauna and spa. This will allow guests to just relax. If they had a long day kind of touring the area, this will allow them to relax and get the sense of feeling like, this will get them feeling like they are somewhere they're meant to be. So here's my furnished plan. I really wanted to keep it open more so. I didn't want a lot of walls. However, I did want a lot of almost horizontal views. So I put through here, here's my door entrance. You can't really see the door because of the walls, but this is my door entrance. I really wanted to keep it as symmetrical as possible to allow the views of that like parallel. And then here are my reflected ceiling plans. I have a bunch of teak beams that run throughout the entire hotel, which correlates with my design and what I was going for. And here is the view of what you see from the lobby. Here's what I mean by seeing those horizontal views when you first walk in. It's very symmetrical, and I really wanted to have that back window to optimize those lights. Which then takes us around to our lounges and our bar area. This is one of the lounges that we'll be seeing. Here's also one of the other lounges right here. Over here is the bar area. It's connected right to the check-in area. And then here is another perspective of the lounges. And then here is an elevation of that same exact lounge. Like I said, I really wanted to keep it open as possible because I felt like that's what Scandinavian design is. It's very minimal and very light. Here's my farm to table restaurant. This is the view of entering, as well as some materials that I used on the left of it. Here's an elevation of that. I had those large windows once again just to optimize those views a little bit more because that's what this design is more so about. And then here is another perspective of my farm to table restaurant. It takes us towards our sauna spa, which I have designed this millwork for this specific spa, which I really wanted to showcase it. And like I said, the same tiles running throughout the entire space because I want it to feel consistent and I want it to feel light. Here is my millwork. It is a teak sofa. It is located in the sauna spa. It's made out of solid rowan wood, and each piece varies within width and height. I chose this rowan wood because it's water resistant. It just felt perfect in my spa. The colors were light. I really didn't want to do any kind of crazy staining towards it, so that's what I was going for. And then this takes us to our guest suite, which it has the living area, the wet bar, a king-size bed, and a luxury bathroom. This specific suite was designed more so for couples, not really family-oriented for this suite. So here is my furnished plan that I designed. I wanted to have not crazy amount of like walls or like division. So I chose a sliding door here to kind of keep that openness throughout, and that way you get the angles of both windows when you're in the bedroom or if you're in the living area, which you will see throughout more of my perspectives. So here is the living area, very open to the wet bar, as you can see. I used the mother of pearl across some of the wall surfaces in this space to kind of keep that iridescence without taking away from the views itself. Here is my guest suite. I played with lighting a little bit in this one. I had lamps, I had like lighting on the ceiling, but then I really wanted to kind of encapsulate the wall itself because I felt like the mother of pearl was the design itself. So I felt like by grazing it almost, you kind of get that effect. And then here is my luxury bathroom that I designed. Like I said, to keep that consistent flow, I used mother of pearl across the entire walls, and I used, for the floor, I used the same tile that I did in the public spaces. And then I hope you come stay with us soon. Thank you. Once coming together, I decided to go with what I came up with, and I felt like the lights kind of tied in a little bit more to this because I have this fishing wire hanging with all these glass mosaics, so I felt like I put myself in this tunnel. Like I had the perspective of standing here and looking up and seeing all these mosaics kind of just looking down at me, and that's when I started thinking about how I can design something with this, and then it led me towards the Northern Lights. And then, go ahead.
Color.
Yeah, it's the colors that what drove me. Also in the pictures that I did have, the light reflecting on it created the iridescence in these glass mosaics, and then that's where it led me towards the Northern Lights. And then I researched the best. What's up? Yeah, it is a little broken, but that's okay. But it led me towards like where is the best place to look for these look at the Northern Lights. And I did my research, and then I saw that Jakolserland Lake was one of the top spots to see it. So that's where it led me to Iceland.
It hits it at certain points.
Right, so like if I pick it up and everybody can.
Like I said, I actually have to thank Jesse for this one because I started with thinking about the shadows, but he was like, well, what if you look at the light instead? And I was like, oh, that's something.
This is really cool, seeing how it plays through there.
Thank you.
Right, and the
And
little
something
you
like
get from
that
the
in the
side. Yeah, something
lobby?
like that in the lobby would be mind
Right.
blowing.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely something I want to play around with. For time purposes, we didn't get